Few hours back, banks across the country opened their shutters and began to withdraw 2,000 rupee notes. You've heard the news by now. On Friday, it was announced that 2,000 rupee notes would be withdrawn from circulation. They don't stop being legal tender. That's a very important point that was made. But today was the day that banks started withdrawing them. Now, we went out as a team to find out what the atmosphere was on the streets of India. And in fact, we have a few key learnings. We're here to tell you everything we learnt, and to tell you about that, I have with me Vishwanath Nair as well as Jaspreet Kalra. Guys, let's start with giving our viewers a sense of what we found when we hit the streets. Vishy?
Yeah, so Alex, simply put, banks were pretty business as usual as far as this exchange facility goes. Remember that customers were always allowed to deposit their 2,000 rupee notes at the branches. It was only the exchange facility which opened this morning. And as far as our experience goes in cities like Mumbai, Delhi, as well as Bangalore, not too many people are actually lining up to exchange these currency notes.
Jaspreet, you went to a different place. All of us hit different areas. I went to Fort in Mumbai. You went to Ghatkopar. It's a business-centric area. Did you find something else?
So, I mean, it was a very usual Tuesday morning in Ghatkopar, especially the branches. A few people trickled in here and there to use the ATMs, but not really a queue forming anywhere to, exchange the 2,000 rupee notes. We spoke to a couple of bank employees there as well. One of them told us that over Saturday and Sunday, people have already been coming in to use the ATMs to deposit the money and hence not waiting around to exchange them at a branch. But let's see how this plays out. They also said they were expecting crowd at some point. Let's see when those crowds actually
that's an interesting point. The cash deposit machines are being used. That's something that I heard today as well. If you have a couple of notes, you don't want to go and stand in line, if at all there is a line. And there wasn't much of a line today. But let's lay the context as well, Vishy, because that's important to understand. How much of the 2,000 rupee note is in circulation when you talk about all of the notes in circulation?
So if you put together the amount of money that is out there in circulation, that's 33 lakh odd crore worth of cash is out there with the individuals in India. And of that, the 2,000 rupee notes account for only 3.6 lakh crore. That's about 10%, 10.8% according to the RBI's assessment. So it's actually a very small part of the overall pie. And what the RBI estimates is that they've given time till the 30th of September. And all of this money that is out there with the people should probably come back into the banking system, and the RBI will be able to successfully withdraw these currency notes from the system.
So just under 11% is what is currently in circulation according to the RBI. Anecdotal evidence suggests that people haven't seen these notes around very much.
Absolutely.
Because I think that the RBI has been over the a period of time withdrawing them from circulation in any case.
This is something that the RBI governor himself pointed out. He was speaking in Delhi yesterday to some reporters, where he said that anecdotally he himself has not, amongst his friends, not seen 2,000 rupee notes being sent out. He also said that the RBI has been conducting informal surveys of people, and most shopkeepers, most people transacting in money on a daily basis have not seen a 2,000 rupee note in hand for a while now.
Yeah, and in that address, in that conversation that he had with reporters yesterday, he said that there would be time, as Vishy pointed out, till the 30th of September, and that they would take a call beyond that to see if there were still 2,000 rupee notes floating around, what they would do. But there's actually source-based information on that, Vishy, today.
Yeah, that's right. So what we're picking up from our sources is that if somebody is left with the 2,000 rupee note after the 30th of September, which is what the deadline that the RBI has given, if you have those 2,000 rupee notes at the end of it, you may not be able to deposit them at a bank or exchange them at a bank. What the RBI, what the sources are telling us is that the RBI will end up having to be the only entity that will be able to accept these 2,000 rupee notes, because after that point in time, the public and banks in general will not be allowed to deal in 2,000 rupees. So if you have those notes after 30th September, you will have to go to an RBI office and get it exchanged. And there'll be a process probably detailed out later, but that is how things are going to flow after this deadline.
Interesting. So as things stand right now, the way I see it, and Vishy, correct me if I'm wrong, two ways to get rid of the 2,000 rupee notes. Either you go to a bank and exchange it or deposit, or two, you could actually make purchases, which some people have started doing. Jaspreet, you found that out, the white goods.
Yeah, we went to a bunch of merchants, but especially a white good merchant, and especially on phones, they said that people who used to come and swipe cards actually are coming in with wads of cash to spend it. I think we should take a listen to what they had to say here as well.
हाँ, लोग तो खरीद तो रहे, घर पे बहुत लोगों ने रखा था. पहले जैसे लोग कार्ड मारते थे, तो अभी घर पे इमरजेंसी फंड के लिए रखा था, तो अभी लोग निकाल रहे कार्ड के जगह पे नोट यूज़ कर रहे।
ऐसा कोई कोई कस्टमर आके बोलता है आपको तो लेना पड़ेगा, थोड़ी ना बंद हो गया है, अब नहीं लोगे तो कौन लेगा, ऐसा आके तो भी क्या करेगा, कस्टमर तो छोड़ नहीं सकता है ना हम लोग।
All right, so that's one way in which you can get rid of those notes. But there's also small purchases that were being made. You had people go out to buy groceries, for example. And the issue with that is the age-old issue with the 2,000 rupee note, which is chutta nahi hai, right?
Yeah. So we met a fruit seller who actually said that people are now coming and making very small ticket purchases using these 2,000 rupee notes, which is like if they buy something for 150 rupees, instead of UPIing or instead of just giving a 100 rupee note, they're pulling out a 2,000 and demanding change.
Yeah.
Of course, the merchant now said they also don't want to say no to incoming business, so they are inclined to accept it, but in 3 transactions they're out of change. So what do?
Let's actually listen to one such a merchant who spoke about the problems that he was facing earlier today.
जब से ये 2000 रुपये का नोट बंद हुआ है, आपके देखने में क्या लोगों ने आके इसको यूज़ किया है आपकी स्टॉल पे?
लेकर तो आते हैं सर, लेकिन चेंज की बहुत तकलीफ होती है।
चेंज की तकलीफ
हाँ,
होती है।
अभी 200 का आदमी माल लेता है, उसको 1800 रुपये वापस करना पड़ता है। मेन तकलीफ यही है।
All right, now there has been a bit of confusion about one last aspect, which is to do with the actual process of exchanging those notes. In some banks, customers have reported that they have been asked to fill out certain forms. But the RBI, the central authority, has said that there is no such requirement. Vishy, why is this dichotomy?
So I'll tell you what, essentially all of this stems from a little bit of the fears of the demonetization past. So back in 2016, when demonetization was announced, at that point in time, there was a lot of cash and in certain cases, unaccounted for cash, which ended up in the banking system. And questions were being asked about how that ended up being there. So you will see some branch officials being a little more cautious. However, all said and done, the rules are simple. There is no requirement of any kind of ID proof or any requisition form to be filled for a customer to go out and exchange those 2,000 rupee notes or deposit them. Now, as far as deposit concerned, there's a limit of 50,000. After 50,000, you will have to submit your PAN. But that was a requirement even before this 2,000 rupee situation started. Banks always require you to submit your PAN if you're going to deposit more than 50,000 into your bank account.
Okay, so just to clarify, so that I need to understand this as well, 20,000 rupees is the limit that you have for exchange of notes, and that's a daily limit. So theoretically, if you have 40,000 rupees of 2,000 rupee notes, you can go on to...
So the RBI guidelines say at a time. Now, at a time could be interpreted differently depending on where the customer is standing and which branch is dealing with this query. But as far as we understand it, the customer stands in line, they can exchange up to 20,000 rupees of 2,000 rupee notes. That's for a simple transaction. Anything above that, they can wait for some time and go back to get it exchanged again, or they can go out and deposit that money into their branch, into their bank account without any stops.
Jaspreet, you had a point to make?
No, I was just saying that it's an any-time consideration as opposed to a per-day consideration, which applies to business correspondence, where you can exchange up to 4,000 rupees per day.
Understood. Now, we incidentally spoke to one customer that had an interesting experience when he went to the bank today. Listen into what he had to say.
We have Mr. Chetan, whom we spoke to a while ago, who had told us he was required to fill up a form. He had visited another bank premises and he was analyzing what other banks are asking for. तो सर बताइए अभी आपका एक्सपीरियंस क्या हुआ, आप एक्सचेंज कर पाए?
हाँ, अभी एक्सचेंज हो गया। जैसे मैंने पहले आपके पास बताया था कि जैसे सेंट्रल बैंक में मैं गया था, उन्होंने हमें फार्म पकड़ाया कि आईडी दो, आईडी होने के बाद फिर आप फार्म भरिए, आईडी दीजिए, उसके बाद आपके 20,000 रुपये आपको हम वापस करेंगे, ऐसे नहीं। फिर मैं वापस आ गया, फिर इस बैंक में आया तो यहाँ पे कई लोग खड़े थे, मैंने उनको पूछा मैं क्या कर रहे हैं, कहते वो भी ये भी फार्म दे रहे हैं। तो मीडिया वालों को हमने बताया, उसके बाद मैं क्या चलो अंदर ट्राई कर लेते हैं। जैसे हम अंदर गए तो हमारे पास PNB के मैनेजर साहब आए, कहते नहीं कोई फार्म नहीं भर रहे हम, और आप अपने पैसे चेंज करवा लीजिएगा। तो उसके बाद उन्होंने अपना फॉर्मेलिटी पूरी की, जैसे कि रजिस्टर बनाया, रजिस्टर में नाम और मोबाइल नंबर लिखा हमारा, साइन कराए और हमें पैसे चेंज कर दिए।
All right, to sum up, it's been an interesting day. To a certain extent, it went as planned because people aren't really rushed to get those 2,000 rupee notes out of their pockets and into the bank, or in fact, to make those purchases, because there is time, and these, as we mentioned at the start, are legal tender. It's not demonetization. And so you have a little time to get rid of those notes. We've kind of given you a sense of how things stand right now. If you have those 2,000 rupee notes though, make sure you get rid of them before the deadline. Stay tuned, lots more coming up over the course of the day, and this is BQ Prime.